Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. I am Dave, and that is Jen, and we're here to talk Christmas because as you're hearing this, Halloween is over, which we're recording this actually on Halloween. But as you're hearing this on release day, it is Christmas time. Well, not yet, but Christmas is coming. Jen, 2023 has flown by in a flurry, in a snow flurry, in a McDonald's flurry. And, like a McDonald's Blizzard machine, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But Christmas is here. So, Jen, how did you Disney this week?
This week, and I'm going to kind of utilize a little bit because last week I was traveling. I was down at the Earmarked Owners Summit, and it was amazing. But as part of that, I got to experience the Moana Journey of Water for the first time. And It was just so fantastic. So I Disneyed by being in Disney and also by experiencing something new in Disney, which is not something I get to say all that often. So
love it. So, let's talk about that real quick. Journey of Water. For the uninitiated, I know a lot of people probably think this is a ride. What exactly is Journey of Water? You walk in, you're like, oh, let's do Moana's Journey of Water. What do we expect? Are we getting soaked? What's happening?
No, you can get wet. That's definitely a possibility, but it is a brand new attraction. It is a walkthrough attraction, and I didn't know exactly what to expect, honestly. I'm like, am I just going to walk in and see the fountains from Journey into Imagination, which I love Journey into Imagination. I love the little fountains that, hop, skip, and jump. And the Splash Mountain used to have it in the Laughing Place where the water jumps. So I'm like, is that what this is? No, it actually talks a lot about, which, Epcot has always been about education. So education of the water cycle, talking about rain and the oceans and the rivers and how different things happen. But everything is interactive. So you walk in and there is, it starts where on the left, you have little streams of water that make sound as you pass your hands through them, almost like strings of an instrument. So you're playing music on the water.
Right.
Of course you have Te Fiti around there. You see nods to Moana, Maui, all of that. There is that beautiful Te Fiti figure that everybody has been posting. But it was so cool because there's a spot where you stand and you do motions and you make the waves come up. So, and the more people you have, the higher the waves go. There's one that I know we posted as a YouTube short, and I think it's on our TikTok and stuff. And I was directing other water. So it's you stand in a certain place and there's sensors and you kind of direct the water, and water is splashing up everywhere. There's cool little rain tunnels where so there's the dry way, and I'm like, oh, I'm going the dry way, and someone's like, no, the water stops. I was like, what? No, literally it's a curtain of water. And you're just like,
that's
awesome.
awesome.
I can't believe we're doing this. And suddenly it just lets you pass through, and then it starts raining again. It's just,
Can you imagine being the guy the one day that doesn't work when they have to close it, for maintenance? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, I would say it was such a neat experience.
I love it.
Definitely encourage people to walk through it. Take your time with it too. And kids, I think, are just really gonna go nuts. It might be one of those things where you think the Casey Jr. splash area, right? Or even those pop fountains in just Epcot where kids just go get soaked, and you're okay, you're fully clothed.
Or some of our agents, which I've seen walk around barefoot.
That too.
We've seen that.
But you might just want to consider that there is the option to get wet, or you have the option to stay. I actually stayed dry, so
okay,
that was my choice.
Well, and I think that was my fear. Is I was like, I want to experience it, but I also don't want to walk around like I just did Kali River Rapids twice.
Right, exactly. You just got dumped water.
Because chafing is not good at Disney. Nobody likes chafing. It's just bad. So it looks like a large attraction. I don't know how big it is. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to go see it. I won't get to see it for a few more weeks when we go down in November, but it looks really, really neat.
It's really
quasi producer Heather has been several times, and we wanted to get her on schedule, so it's not worked out. So she gives her love and support behind the scenes. But
she loved it. She
loves
her
it
girls loved it.
Well, of course, they are a Moana family, hence the Moana mom. They have a real connection to Moana. So I imagine this is like made for her. Just like when they finally build a bolt attraction with a rhino sidecar, that's going to be all about me, right?
It's built for David Dollar.
Exactly. So I Disneyed by reading a brand new book. When it was announced like in June or so, I was like, that's my Christmas list right there. I want this book. Cannot wait. And of course, when the audio book was available for pre-order, like in August, I immediately ordered it. It's called MCU: The Reign of Marvel, and it's a 528 page like volume, basically. Wow. It's the history of the MCU, starting from the very beginning. Kind of gives a little bit of intake on how Marvel was started with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and those guys. I said Jack Kirby. I'm not sure if that's his name. Jack Kirby is a legendary comic book figure and whatever writer and such, but I don't know if that was him. So I want to make sure that I correct all the before they at me. They're like, don't at me. It might be but it kind of leads up to that, and it kind of leads up to how Iron Man and Hulk, the movies, came to be, and kind of from there heading on all the way through this just monumental MCU run.
Yeah.
Which, as I said before, phases 1, 2, and 3, that's something that I don't think we'll ever see again, because now audiences are trained to expect movies to run together. Nobody thought that would happen until we started seeing movies intertwined together. And it's really okay. So there's two things about this. One, this is a great book for Marvel fans. It's a fantastic book. The downside is, like, I wanted a little bit more. I think there are some things they only touched on that I wanted more of. But at the same time, I have to be fair. This book is 528 pages. I feel like I could have done 2 of these books and done more detail, but that's just me being a nerd. So I did write down a couple of things. There are a few little, this thing is full of anecdotes and behind the scenes little stories and stuff. So here's some random facts from this book that you may not know, Jen.
I probably don't.
They did not want Robert Downey Jr. to be Tony Stark, because at the time, remember, he had troubled past. He dealt with drugs,
that's true.
That's true. He was a movie star who didn't make a lot of film, not a lot of money, whatever. And Jon Favreau, the director of Iron Man, fought for him to be in there, and they thought he was perfect. And the producers did not want him. So somebody in Marvel leaked to the press that Robert Downey Jr. was likely going to be Iron Man. So of course everybody went crazy over it. They're like, "This is so exciting." The producers were like, "Fine. But if he fails, it's on you, and you're all fired." It was a massive thing. Thankfully, he didn't fail. Secondly,
I think we can safely say that.
You look at Marvel now; it's this massive entity that's worth hundreds of billions of dollars or whatever. Well, in the 90s, they were bankrupt. They were nearly bankrupt. They were selling off their pieces, their characters and stuff. Sony was going to purchase the rights to Spider-Man for $10 million. They came to Sony and was like, "Hey, we'll give you everything for $25 million. If you give us $25 million, you can have all of it, not just the rights to Spider-Man." They rejected it, and they said, nobody gives a expletive deleted about those other characters. All we want is Spider-Man. So literally, Sony could have had the rights to everything. And I don't know that they would have sold to Disney. I feel like they probably would have gone to Comcast and worked with Universal. And so history in the making right there. Also, whenever we saw Infinity War, when Thanos did the snap and who faded out, who didn't, a lot of that was based on storytelling, but a lot of that was based on contractual obligations. Like, who is contracted to be movies. They wanted to keep the Avengers 6 in there. They wanted to keep, Iron Man, Captain, all those, Hulk, whatever. They would keep those because this is the Avengers story. They don't want one of them to disappear for an entire film. But at the same time, they also were looking at, like, okay, Black Panther, does he stay? Does he go? Winter Soldier, does he stay? To Bucky, whatever. So they looked at contracts and stuff and, like, who gets paid for what. Okay, well, let's save a little bit of money and let him get snapped away and not come back until the end of the next movie. He gets to stay. He gets to go. So there's some of that. Sam Jackson, in his contract, did not want to run. When he made these movies, he's like, "I'm not running." I'm like, he's in his 60s at the time. He's like, "I'm not running." Yeah. So there's a scene in the Avengers where he has to run onto the carrier, the helicarrier platform with a rocket launcher to try to shoot down a plane.
Right.
And when he read the script, he called Kevin Feige and he was like, "Why am I running?" And Feige was like, "I need you to run in this." And of course, Samuel Jackson had a very colorful expression.
I am so sure.
So he called him a name. You're gonna love this, by the way. Emily Blunt was the one they kind of wanted for Black Widow. They had her in. Really? They looked at her. They wanted her for Black Widow, but she was contracted to do the movie Gulliver's Travels that nobody remembers.
I do not even remember that one at all.
She did Gulliver's Travels. She was caught in this. She could not get out of that, so she could not do Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson came in, was a hit. They loved her immediately. So there is a world that Emily Blunt was Black Widow.
Interesting.
Which is really, really interesting. And finally, there are several times that Bob Iger had to step in to make things happen. because whenever they were looking to sell, there's a guy named Ike Perlmutter, and he's kind of one of the executives in the news now because he's actually sold a lot of his Marvel and Disney stock to somebody else. You can look him up. He's a very dominating figure behind the scenes that not a lot of people know about. But he didn't want to sell to Marvel. Bob Iger had to step in, did not want to sell to Disney, excuse me. Bob Iger had to step in and call him, and say, hey, let's work this out. He had him up for his ranch for the weekend. They kind of worked it out. Marvel sold to Disney. Later on, whenever Sony and Disney were after the movies came out the first time, they were having some contract disputes. I don't know if you remember that Spider-Man was suddenly not going to be part of MCU.
Yeah, I do remember that, actually.
Sony was like, you did your movies, now he's ours again, right? And, it was really, everybody's like, we want Spider-Man. And of course, Tom Holland was very upset and called Bob Iger and was like, hey, I just want to thank you so much. It was very considerate. Thank you so much for the opportunity, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he goes on vacation with his family. And, Bob Iger is trying to work all this out. So he calls Tom Holland to try to work everything out. To say, hey, you know what? I got your message. I'm really excited. We want to make sure we work this out. Tom Holland was with his family. Tom Holland was in a bar and drunk at the time. So the phone rings. He looks down. And he tells his dad, he's like, I think Bob Iger is calling me. And his dad's like, well, answer the phone. Yeah, but I'm drunk. And his dad's like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So he takes the call. They work it out. I mean, they figured it out. I mean, like, what Holland wanted to stay with Disney anyway.
Of course,
Iger was like, hey, don't worry. We're not dead in the water yet. We're going to work this out. And of course they did. They made Far From Home, which, by the way, and this book does go into some detail about how all that happened, because that was a monumental task, getting Andrew Garfield, getting Tobey Maguire. They originally wanted Kirsten Dunst and Emma Stone to come back for the movie as well. Because they were in the other Spider-Man movies too. But both of them read the script and they were like, this movie's great, but it's a little overstuffed. We don't know we can do this. So they were not in the movie at all. The book is, like I said, a lot of those kind of anecdotes as well. And Far From Home was actually being rewritten as the movie was filming. They did not have a finished script as they were filming the movie, because so-and-so would call and be like, okay, I'm in, let's do it. And so they would have to add that character in, or so-and-so would call and be like, hey, I can't do this, I'm out. So they would have to rewrite like several pages, take a character out, put a new character in as they were filming, which is something you never want to happen. But of course, it was one of the biggest movies of all time. So yeah, MCU, the Random Marvel, it's on Audible, 16 hours and 40 minutes if you want that, or 528 pages on Amazon. I'm going to wait for the trade paperback when it comes out, because I imagine there will be updated stuff in the trade paperback in the paperback.
Probably,
I imagine it'll come out some next year, but yeah, good book. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're diehard, you might be a little unsatisfied, thinking I want a little bit more, but you're gonna have a good time reading this book. So that's MCU. So that's how I Disney was finishing my book. So let's talk a little bit of news. Now, a lot of stuff has happened, Jen, since you've been gallivanting all over the world, by the way. As you were listening to this audience, you and Kyla, and of course our beloved agent Alexa, the Down Easter Alexa, will be down in Turks and Caicos doing a sandal-y thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, Sandals and Beaches, Northeast Regional Conference. We are very excited to be attending, and there are going to be some booking specials, for that as well. So just kind of stay tuned to our social medias. But yeah, you'll see lots of beautiful pictures of gorgeous
fun times. Oh, it's gonna be great. Sandals is good. It's gonna be awesome because they do fantastic resorts. It's gonna be awesome. Of course, now we're all headed down in mid-November for a big meetup, not an agency retreat necessarily, but just a big meetup. Would you have 4 trips between the Turks trip and that trip scheduled in between? Is that right? You're
I have a Turks trip. We're going to Disney in the middle of November. I'm going on the Norwegian Viva at the end of November. And
I can't wait to hear about Norwegian though. That's going to be a fun.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, a lot of trips coming up. It's
as if you own a travel agency, Jen. It's as if you own Upon a Star Travel and are trying to, experience all these things. And Brady, I imagine your beloved, your husband Brady probably looked at the calendar going, all right, so I get to see Jen here, I get to see Jen there, I get to see Jen here. So
this is an aggressive schedule for me. I'm not typically away this much, but it just how things worked out this fall. So, but all amazing things. So
yeah, my schedule in the spring is gonna be the same thing, because I'll do the half marathon in February. I'll do a family trip in March. I have the Royal Caribbean coming up in April. My buddy and I are looking at doing a parkology every ride challenge sometime late April, early May. We have the Pity Party, the Pittsburgh trip in June, and it's like, wow, I got one thing after the other. So, Anyway, so let's get to the news real quick. Of course, the after hours events were announced for Epcot, for Hollywood Studios. Go to the glasses for this because it's getting old. After hours events announced for Hollywood Studios and not Animal Kingdom, excuse me, Epcot and Magic Kingdom. And it's going to be a fun event. It's going to be a fun time for these after hours events because they start later on in the evening, and you can go online and any of our socials and see all the details and stuff. But you'll be able to get in the party at 7. The party either starts at 9:30 or 10. It goes for about 3 hours, and you have access to just most of the attractions late at night. Magic Kingdom usually goes to about 1 a.m. They give out free popcorn. They give out free drinks, specialty drinks, or not specialty, but like free like Cokes and things like that, bottle drinks and water and such. Usually free ice cream sandwiches, cookies, free ice cream sandwiches, or free ice cream, Mickey bars. It's specialty ice cream. It's not everything. Don't walk up and be like, I want a bunch of Dippin' Dots. Number one, they don't have those, but number two, it's not for free. So there are some things there, but. And have you've done after hours events, correct?
I have. It's been a bit. I haven't done them this year. Yeah, your glasses are all foggy.
Yeah, I know they're foggy. Well, they're sitting on top of my head, and now they're all foggy.
That's why.
Because I got a wet head because I just showered. So
that'll do it.
So right.
Yeah.
I've done 2, and I loved both of them very, very much because they, unlike the Christmas party or the Halloween party, they sell a very limited amount of these tickets, which is why they're higher priced. And so you pay a higher price.
Right.
But there are some points in time when I was walking around Magic Kingdom, I'd walk through Adventureland and there was nobody around me. Like I didn't see a single soul. I'm like, I'm getting in a Pirates.
It definitely is something that can be worth the money.
The Tron, I know Tron, I don't know about Guardians. I know Tron is not going to have a virtual queue. It will be standby for these events. You'll just walk right on up because of the limited amount of people, which will be great. And so after hours events or something, the tickets go on sale pretty soon. So definitely reach out to us for that. They're not going to sell out initially. I don't know how many sold out last time.
I mean, I think they will end up selling out.
They will at some
much
point,
like the Christmas party, the Halloween party, day one is typically not a sellout day.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be awesome. Another thing that happened over the last week, and we're just gonna jump around from park to park here. Again, let me go to the glasses here. Oh, they're not quite as foggy. How about that? Nice. So we had a passing in Animal Kingdom, and let me pull it up here. Stefan Mikes, and I don't know how to say his last name specifically. It's Mikes with a little thingy over the E there. So Mikes. Anyway, he is the sitar player at Animal Kingdom Lodge. He passed away earlier this week. So he's kind of I don't want to say he's a legend because a lot of people didn't know who he was, but if you walk through Animal Kingdom, he's the guy on the little pedestal there playing the sitar. He was in his
very recognizable.
60s, very recognizable. He had surgery this week and had a medical emergency and just didn't come through for him. So definitely thoughts, prayers for his family as well. And for the Disney family, because in Animal Kingdom, a lot of those cast members work at Animal Kingdom solely, and they're close, and they know people, and they're connected to people. And you got somebody like this with a specialty. I imagine he will be missed by a lot of his fans, a lot of his people there that work with him. So so there's that over at Animal Kingdom as well. Kevin from Up, you'll find him over at Dino Land USA over at Animal Kingdom versus just the random areas he was walking around in, which I usually see him around the Finding Nemo area, but I'd also see him around in front of Flame King Barbecue. So I don't know.
I've seen him
area.
I don't know that he does either. I think I mean, I've even seen him toward the front of the park. So I just think it kind of depends, but gosh, I love Kevin.
Randomly as well, to celebrate National Veterans and Military's Family Month for November, the Air Force Thunderbirds flew over Magic Kingdom, which they've done before. And for the first time, they flew over Epcot.
That was cool.
This was the 70th anniversary of the Thunderbirds. They're an air demonstration squadron. They basically just do shows and things like that. But if you've ever seen them, it is just a cool thing to see the jets fly over. Just having a flyover itself is just really cool. So
it is.
Jen, I'm gonna put this on. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I actually got to listen to the first female Thunderbird pilot speak at our recent Earmark Summit. It was fantastic.
Nice. That is really cool.
It was absolutely amazing.
That is awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on you, Jen, that when I do pass away, I'm going to make sure that you make sure that I have a flyover for my funeral. I think that would be fitting.
I feel like...
So just call the Bob who can call somebody else. I get that. It would be good.
I will get right on that. Like, you're not allowed to die for a while. So
no, I'm okay. I'll be okay for a little while. So let's talk about the RunDisney calendar. Speaking of the February event,
yes, indeed.
Briefly, they released the 2024-2025 RunDisney calendar, which is mind-blowing to me that we're about to be in 2024, which means 2025 is a year away, which means Epic Universe is a year away. And a lot, Tiana's, we're getting to the point where we can say later on this year, Tiana's Bayou Adventure will open up. What?
We're not there yet, but we're getting close.
We're getting there. running through real quick the summer series, the Run Disney virtual series. They don't have a theme for it, but they'll come up with something for the Run Disney.
They will, for sure.
I've done it. I did it last year. They probably will do 1, 2, 3, 5Ks. They'll have a series of medals. I'm probably going to do it again next year. Next year for Disneyland, they're doing a Halloween half marathon weekend, so you can actually register for that.
That's interesting.
September 5th through the 8th, and I'm not going to run through all the registration dates and stuff because you'll just get lost on that. But the Disney Wine and Dine half marathon weekend, which is the 31st through the November 3rd, coming up next year, which is the end of October, starting on Halloween. Run Disney virtual events, the 12K of Christmas, which is the first time thing this year where you're running, I want to say like 3 or 4Ks, I believe, and you get like ornament medals.
Interesting.
I was going to do it, but it's expensive. Yeah, they're like 4Ks. They're not 5Ks or 3Ks. They're 4Ks. I want to say you run 3 of them, or maybe 4. I don't know, but you get some ornament medals. It's a little pricey for me, which is why I didn't do it, but it looks cool. I might have to purchase for it next year. Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend, January 8th through the 12th, 2025.
Oh my gosh, 2025. Why are you even saying that date?
January 30th through February 2nd, 2025 is the Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend. The Princess Half Marathon, which I know we're all kind of coming together for an agency trip this year. Well, I guess next year for 2024. For the 2025 version, February 20th through 24th. This is kind of an annual thing for a lot of us, and I think it's something that I just want to keep doing every year, which I think is fun. It's a Princess Half Marathon, so they have the princesses on the medals, and I figure eventually they'll cycle through the 5K, and every princess will get represented on the 5K medal. So at some point, and there's only like 13 princesses, so 13 years from now, I might have a 5K.
So far, you never know who might get out of so far.
Asha, I think her name is, from the Wish from Disney Wish coming up, not the ship of the movie. I imagine she will be crowned as a princess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and they haven't inducted one since
Raya.
Raya? Did they induct Raya? Did they induct
Raya's
her officially?
She is an official princess.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then
because I don't know who else would be a princess. I'll be honest with you.
Well, because they've already talked about Anna and Elsa. I mean, why? That's a whole thing. That's a whole different thing.
Asha, I'm guessing Asha will be the next princess. We don't know anything.
Nobody's told us anything. Don't add us. That's just this is speculation. Total speculation. We don't know that free dining is coming back at all. Oh my gosh, David Dollar, do not even.
I'm just saying we don't know anything.
Oh my gosh, why?
By the way,
stop it?
That was a joke for the folks. That was a joke. That wasn't what's he trying to say? I'm just saying that was a total joke.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm sorry. I can't believe Jen even brought it up. Run Disney Springtime Surprise, April 3rd through the 6th, 2025. Now, the fun thing about these is that, the unfortunate thing is that Disney no longer lets travel agencies book our rooms or reservations with the actual registration itself. We used to do that.
There was a brief period of time
do an early registration for clients,
right?
So why are we scrambling for it? Our clients were like, "Yeah, I'm already registered." Can't do that anymore. However, we can put your trip around it. So if you're looking to go into the Springtime Surprise, maybe this April or something, or maybe the Wine and Dine next year, it's a good idea to go ahead and get your rooms booked, because as you get closer, those rooms disappear. Those found out
fill up.
Last year, wanting to stay at Pop, it was completely sold out. I said, Jen, I had to stay at Port Orleans Riverside by myself in a preferred room, blah blah blah. So there is some of that. So let's hop on that if you can. The Festival of the Arts is coming very very soon in January of 2024. It is a great fun festival, and it's the shortest festival, honestly, of the whole festival thing. Jen, I have only been to this one like once, I think. So I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about Festival of the Arts. What is it? Why would people go? What makes it different? Putting you on the spot.
I love the Festival of the Arts. And I think that it is a really different festival just because there are so many interactive elements that some of the other festivals don't have. Now, listen, I love the other festivals too. But yes, you still do get some specialty food. I mean, obviously that's important to all of us. But there's a big mural, which they swap out. They typically have like 4 that they rotate. And you get to paint part of the mural. They'll be like, okay, you're going to be the blue cup, whatever. And they give you like a little blue cup of paint. This is totally free, by the way. Yeah. You get to walk up and you paint like with 6 admission. Squares. Yeah. Well, with admission, correct. With admission. Included with admission. How about that? Yes, and you can, obviously your kiddo is probably going to paint squares closer to the bottom. And you might take some of the high up ones. But it's really neat just to see it take shape, and they swap it out like throughout the festival so that it's not like, oh well, it's all painted, we can't participate now. Nope, you're gonna be able to participate. It's so neat. I know in the past, now not in super recent years, but The year pre-COVID, I was there, and there was like a scarf dyeing thing. You could like dye your own scarves. It was really like
awesome.
neat. Yeah,
Right.
like marbling, like had how the paint was on the water, and then they would sell their wares. There's also, I mean, just all sorts of booths around. Some things that you might also see at the other festivals, but some things like, especially artwork. And you will see sometimes Disney artists there who maybe can even sign their art. And
Yes.
The Broadway series is amazing. They will bring, I mean, we saw Simba and Nala from The Lion King performing, in Epcot. Like they'll pick people who have been in like the Disney Broadway series, like on Broadway, and not even just like Disney ones, but you will see them come and perform. It's, incredible. And just like, Flower and Garden and was it Food Rocks and Eat to the Beat. There we go. I know it's there.
Of course.
Just like those, it is included. Yes, but you can do dining packages, which if you want the special seating, you can do. Just Festival of the Arts has so many neat elements, interactive elements. It's one of my favorites.
I love it. Like I said, I've been once. It's just one of those things I'm not able to get to because it is so early in the year. And if I'm going to go in February,
and
it's
only
hard to go
6
in
weeks.
January.
It's
only 6 weeks.
Festival.
And so, and when we're going down for the weekend, I think it ends right before that weekend starts. Yeah. And so I'm not even sure of the date of, I have to look at the 19th. It's January the 12th through February the 19th. And let me look on my handy dandy calendar here on the 19th, which is a Monday. I won't be coming down till Wednesday. So I will miss it by 2 days, but it is a cool thing. And I hate to say it's very artsy, but that's exactly what it is. It's very artsy, very creative. There's a lot of food and wine obviously concentrates on the food and the wine. The Flower and Garden concentrates on the flowers and the food and the wine. And the Festival of the Holidays is all Christmas. Well, this is something a little bit different that I don't think gets a lot of nods anywhere because Magic Kingdom and Epcot, Magic Kingdom and Hollywood, or whatever, they don't concentrate on like artsy things, whereas Epcot does. And it gives a lot of local artists a chance to come in and just show their stuff off, which is there's some stuff in there that I've seen that I'm like, this is amazing. I want this in my house right now. Oh, it's $7,000. No, I can't do it. And so, it's really cool. So Festival of the Arts is definitely something I recommend to everybody if you can. Final bit of news here on this. Jen, did you hear that they were putting a Haunted Mansion bar on the Disney Treasure?
I might have heard something about that. Actually, it came out when we were at Summit, so everyone was like, "Oh,
yes, it looks cool." Do you know anything else about it other than just the general information?
Just that I really only know general information. Like it's going to be themed like Haunted Mansion. It's, I'm sure there's going to be some cool elements. Like I'm just picturing, and again, guys, this is nothing anybody said. I'm just guessing because like I've been on the other ships and like I'll tell you on the Disney Dream, they have in the champagne bar, they have this little pink elephant from, was it Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's from Winnie the Pooh. Elephant, who will like randomly pop into one of the little bubbles. And it's so fun. It's like a little Easter egg you're looking for, on the Fantasy and the Dream, they have a Skyline bar, and like we did a tour of the ship and they pointed out things like this changes every it's like every 15 minutes I think. And if you look in one of the windows, at least we did the tour of the Fantasy, so it must have been the Fantasy, and they showed like there was like a little guy with a lightsaber or something like that. And it's like there are random little nods, to IP, like which you don't expect. It was like it's the Madrid scene. There's something, and might not be a lightsaber, but there's like hidden Disney elements in there. So I can just imagine, based on that creativity, what they could, and the technology that's out. Like I could only imagine what they could do. Like, are we going to see a hitchhiking ghost? Maybe. Are we going to see the Hatbox Ghost? I mean, I would be shocked if not, because they're bringing the Hatbox Ghost to Disney World this month. Wait, November. This month.
Yes. Yeah. So, the end of November. So
yeah.
Well, yes, when people are listening to this, it is later on this month as recording.
So
it's
technically
next month,
it would be literally, but I have no idea what they're going to do, but I can't wait to see. It's going to be.
Well, if anybody's ever been on the Disney Wish, it's like this. It's going to be in the Star Wars hyperspace bar and lounge.
Yes.
And it's a small space, but it's very cozy. And I've heard mixed reviews on the hyperspace lounge, which I loved. I thought it was so inventive and so cool. Really and I love the screen behind it and everything. So I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a hot property on the ship. I imagine everybody will want to get in there. They may have to do a virtual queue or just do a standby line, have lines like wrapped around the building, whatever. But looking forward to that. And as soon as I heard Haunted Mansion, Disney Treasure, which they had announced something like that a long time ago, but they finally gave some details, artist renderings.
There was on the artist renderings, there were like some rumors too. And you're like, I wonder what this is going to look like.
But also, Jen, no free dining in Disney Treasures Haunted Mansion Lounge either. So just so we clear that up, just so the audience knows.
So glad you
none of that
cleared
there.
up.
None of that there. Later on, she's going to call me and be like, "Why'd you keep saying free dining? Stop it." So now that the Halloween season is over, real quick, what's your favorite scary movie? Do you have a favorite scary movie?
I hate all scary movies. I hate literally every scary movie. Now I do like M. Night Shyamalan. Does that count? Like I like
it does. Well, some of his stuff can be scary. Some can be scary.
Yeah, it could be like suspenseful.
Sixth Sense, a little creepy. Little weird. And so
my favorite of his is Signs. I love Signs.
Yes, Signs is good. His last movie that came out was it Old? I think that came out last. No, he came out with one this year called Knock at the Cabin.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's more sci-fi than anything else.
Oh,
I like it because you're plunged right into the situation of it. It's got Jonathan Groff, who has plays Kristoff. And also Ron Weasley. Rupert Grint is in this as well, which is kind of fun to see him actually in a role that's not, pottery, which is interesting.
But you know what's funny is he's actually in the M. Night Shyamalan. There's a 30-minute show. What is it on Apple TV? I think it is called The Servant, and he's in that. Ron Weasley's in that.
That's probably why he built the relationship. My favorite scary movie. Favorite scary movie is Poltergeist. Straight up, we've talked about that before.
Oh my gosh!
It's one of the best pure ghost stories you're ever gonna see. I can watch it now and be fine. When I was a kid, it terrified the absolute crap out of me. It was awful, but I love it now. Very well told story. A lot of lore behind that as well. So look that up. But that's Halloween. But now we're moving into Christmas. Jen, favorite Christmas movie? Do you have a favorite Christmas film?
Do I have a favorite Christmas movie? I mean, that's so hard to say. I mean,
besides Four Christmases.
Actually, that was not my favorite. That's like number 6.
Okay.
On any given day, like I will say White Christmas. It's like that's a must. I've already watched it this year.
Of course.
Newsflash. I watched it before Halloween. I don't care. And then the other two that I constantly have to watch would be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and Elf. Muppets gets up there too. I love Muppets Christmas Carol, but that's not an all the time thing. Whereas at any given time, I can have White Christmas, Elf, or National Lampoon's on in the background. I will quote the stuff. I don't need to be like focusing on it. I just like it. I just want to see it. That's all.
Love it. One of my favorites. Well, I have 3 big ones. 3 that I love. Christmas Story. Of course, everybody loves Christmas Story.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yes.
And Bill Murray in Scrooged.
Oh,
which
that's
is a modern day retelling of the Christmas Story. And I love that movie. It's one of my favorites as well. Also, White Christmas is like Meet Me in St. Louis, where there's really just a Christmas aspect to it in the movie, and there's a whole lot of movie that's not about Christmas that has Christmas stuff in it. Or am I thinking Holiday? Maybe I'm thinking Holiday Inn. There's one of those.
A little bit of Holiday Inn because this is focused around like it happens on Christmas Eve. It's the iconic like the red.
Okay, that's
I mean, yes, there's a lot of it that's not necessarily about Christmas, but it is sort of like a driving point of the whole thing.
Like I love Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland.
Oh, it's great.
And it's classified sometimes as a Christmas film, but it's like one scene happens at Christmas with that great "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" song, and the rest of it's not Christmas, but people are like, it's a Christmas movie, we love it. And
White Christmas actually starts with it being Christmas Eve in World War II. So like there is that element that kind of like tracks through the whole thing.
Confession, I don't care for It's a Wonderful Life. I don't. I think it's overrated. I just don't really care for it that much.
Fine.
I've seen it like twice ever. I'll never watch it again. You know what? I know people are like, why are we not talking
like
Disney?
already adding you?
I get
it. We're losing followers as we speak.
Last point on this. So I have to say this, but probably my absolute favorite Christmas film is a movie from 1984.
Please do not tell me it's called Die Hard.
No, it's called The Night They Saved Christmas. It's got, I believe, was it Jacqueline Smith, Paul Le Mat, Art Carney, and it's this TV movie where there's a workers up in North Pole. And they're drilling for oil up there, and Santa Claus comes to the family and is like, you guys have got to stop drilling because you're going to destroy North Pole City. The real oil is found over here on the other side. Go there. You're going to start get rich. And this whole thing of like it's so silly. And I love it so much. It's
funny. I've never seen.
I don't know how many people out there have even heard of this movie. Probably not a lot.
Had.
If you listen to me on the movie podcast, the Newscast Movie Show, I talk about this movie every Christmas because it's my favorite. But I love that stupid little movie, The Night They Saved Christmas. And so anyway, let's talk about Disney Christmas stuff. We want to kick off real quick, do a holiday preview, and some of the stuff you've heard us talk about before. We're going to kind of encapsulate it all together, kind of jump little topic to topic. And of course, the first thing is the Very Merry Christmas Party.
Yes.
Which starts November 9th, actually.
It does.
But that date is now sold out. Yes. The 9th and the 10th are sold out of November. The 1st of December is sold out. And the and the 22nd of December, which is the final night of the party. And the tickets
which
run
is not
anywhere
surprising.
from $169 to about $199, depending on the night you go. This is a party that if you've never gone, I suggest you go. If you,
it's
again,
great.
This is one of those, it can be pricey, especially for a larger family. So it's like, it's a little more of and all of these things that are extra ticketed, I will say this right off the top. If you have the fund and you're okay with spending the money, I would suggest you go. Don't mortgage your house for this. Don't go crazy for this. But over the course of the evening and then the party, you're going to have Minnie's wonderful Christmas time fireworks. You're going to see Mickey's wonderful Christmas time parade. There will be Disney characters dressed in their Christmas finery all throughout the park, which is really, really great. They have cookies and cocoa. They have like a cookie trail all the way through the park. You can go different spots and get free cookies and free cocoa and eggnog sometimes. There's gonna be decor all over the place. It snows on Main Street. I mean, if you love Christmas, it's just a cool environment to be with. Like, I feel like the cast members that there are extra into it. They wear the cool Christmas vest, and like, if I guess they volunteer to work it or whatever because they're just so happy and everybody's so festive and so excited. Jen, your thoughts on the Christmas party? I know you've been to a couple.
I have. I love it. I mean, Christmas is my favorite time of year, so I love that they make it snow on Main Street. Of course, you get to see and cookies and cocoa and all of that. Great character meets. The weather is a little bit cooler, so and then the nighttime Christmas parade. So I really do. I think the Christmas party is just a ton of fun, and I definitely think it's worth going to check out.
The photo pass opportunities are great. They're also
amazing.
A foodie guide for all the food that's going to be there, which
I
is
love.
Like, I'm really sad that I don't know that I'm going to go to a Christmas party this year because I'm doing other things during our trip, because I've been to several. But I'm like, some of that food looks fantastic. Although there are some things available at resorts and Disney Springs, so I may have to check out some of those things as well. Also happening, which I will be going to, which I think you will be going to as well, and that's Jollywood, Disney's Jollywood over at Hollywood Studios. And this is a new event, brand new event. It's only held for like 12 nights. November the 11th and the 18th are sold out, as well as December the 16th. This is one of those things that slowly but surely things are beginning to sell out on these things.
Which I figure.
So I figure, and because for a long time, none of it sold out. And I think people are like, what's a Jollywood? I don't even know what this is. But it looks super fantastic. It's going to be over at Hollywood Studios, and I don't want to say it's more adult themed, but I feel like some of the stuff is geared more toward adults. Not that it's an adults only, or it's not
party, at all. But there's things the adults are excited for.
Exactly. So some of the things you're going to find over at Jollywood, and now I'm vamping here because
listen, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Tip Top Club. This is what Brady Novotny is so excited about. That is what actually made the decision for him to go down. I was like, okay, I'll just go down because like so many of my team's going down. I really want to go down and see everything. And I want to go to Jollywood. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to I probably should stay home and work. I was like, okay, that's fine. He comes into my office and he's like, I was just reading about this Jollywood thing. I was like, yeah. He's like, they're doing the Tip Top Club. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm coming. I was like, all right. So we're so excited. Tower of Terror is like one of our favorite rides. We love like that whole theming of like the 20s, 30s. Like we love the Art Deco stuff. And we always love to look at details, right? So if you walk past the photo counter on the way before you get to the gift shop, on the right-hand side by the arch, there is a menu for the Tip Top Club showing what was being served on whatever, October 31st, 1939 or whatever it was. And you can see the whole menu. I have pictures of it. And we're like, oh, that should totally make a Tip Top Club. And now they are in the courtyard. And so we're going to be there. So that's what I'm excited about.
I'm excited about that as well, because again, I don't know what to expect. I didn't know anything about the Tip Top Club until it was announced for the Jollywood Nights, and now I'm like all excited about it. Also returning, the Jingle Bell Jingle Bam, which is going to be awesome. It's a nighttime spectacular, which they haven't shown since before COVID.
It's been a lot. It's been a minute.
Wayne and Lanny from Prep and Landing, which is a show that I don't even know if it's on the air anymore, but they're there
on Disney Plus.
So they're going to be there. The Disney Holidays in Hollywood Theater of the Stars. And this is what I'm excited about because it's hosted by Kermit Miss Piggy.
That's going to be so cool.
The Muppets will be on there doing a musical variety show with Belle and Tiana and Mickey and Minnie. And they've released some renderings on it, what it's going to look like. Yeah. If you're a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, the Hyperion Theater, which usually shows the Frozen show, will be doing a sing-along, which is going to be insane. If you're a fan of that, you want to be there because the people that go in there will be singing at the top of their lungs.
100%.
And so you'll want to be there.
Such a cult classic. It's such a
one of
classic.
our good friend and show collaborator, Kyla has mentioned to me a couple of times she's excited about the holiday fiesta in in Local, whatever it's called. It's basically a Latin street fair over at the Commissary Lane,
Yes.
which they're going to have Mexican hot cocoa cheesecake and zero proof pina colada.
Mexican hot cocoa is really good. It's got cinnamon in it. It's a little spicy though. You don't like spicy.
Oh, that's true. Well, I'll probably will step on somebody else's until it's gone and then not pay for it. So, yes, as you mentioned, the Twilight Soiree at the Tip Top Club, that's going to have a live band with dancing and cocktails and such. And so they're going to have jazzy holidays at the Hollywood Brown Derby. So there'll be some of that. They'll have a DJ spinning holiday tunes. Complimentary. That's a word you don't hear with Disney very much, but complimentary PhotoPass downloads with special magic shots will be there. They're going to have different characters like Powerline Max will be there, Phineas and Ferb, Edna Mode at Frozone over at Pixar Plaza, Mickey and Minnie will be dressed in their Hollywood-inspired Hollywood glitz and glamour. A lot of the attractions will be open. We know Rock and Roller Coaster, Twilight Zone Terror, Slinky Dog, Smuggler's Run.
I don't even care about riding a single thing that night.
No, I don't know that I'm going to ride very much.
I am going to walk around and get photos and like just experience the things. Like I do not even care about riding.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And so do you have your dress ready? Do you have your outfit ready for it?
I have Brady has figured out what he's wearing. I have a couple of options. So I need to kind of look at the weather, and we're definitely going with kind of the theme, and there is going to be like a red petticoat underneath my dress. I'm just throwing that out there. It's going to be a thing.
Nice. So that's like, I'm still looking at mine. I can't decide if I want to go like loud with like a light up blazer or something that with the Christmas lights all over it, or kind of get more in the theme of the 30s Jollywood or whatever. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna do something fun. I'm gonna have something fun, or I have some actually full length Frozen pajamas, and I might just wear Olaf pajamas all the way through. So why not? And wear some Frozen Crocs.
There's definitely going to be a vintagey theme happening.
Yes, and so I have been looking at local thrift stores, just kind of getting a vintagey thought and what I want to do, and and kind of like that spirit of Halloween, of course, is open everywhere, so I might have to go step in there and see what I can find. So there's some of that. Now the dates for these, we've had 3 dates sold out, as I mentioned before. So if you want to go to Jollywood, again, it's an extra ticketed event. I would suggest getting your tickets now, and I tell people as soon as you know you want to go, get your tickets. We're happy to get them for you here at Upon a Star. They are non-refundable. Sometimes you can transfer them depending on if things happen. But that is a conversation you have to have with Disney directly. They don't have a blanket statement on that. So that is a sometimes. So don't be scared don't be mad if you call up and be like, you told me I could transfer it. No,
just plan that they're non-refundable. Just plan that they're
non-refundable. Exactly. So the gingerbread houses are also coming back, and there is a whole thing about the gingerbread houses, which I am super excited about. Of course, everybody knows about the one in Grand Floridian. Grand Flow, the life-size gingerbread house, which they're going to start building out very, very soon. You walk in there, and it's basically a life-size. You can probably, you don't want to, but you could eat or could have eaten at one time most of the ingredients on this house itself.
I mean, by the time it's shellacked on, you're not really.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. But I
mean,
they're making it
real gingerbread.
So it's really, really cool. And we love going there too, because we get our fill on cookies and hot chocolates and cake pops and things like that. So, and plus it's at your home resort, your Grand Flow, which is going to be great. Some of the other traditions they have this year, they have at the gingerbread and the resort displays. And please let me know if I missed something. Of course, we know about the gingerbread at Grand Floridian. Contemporary always has a chocolate display, and they always have something coming up. And should be open actually early November. Did they announce what the theming was going to be for this year's chocolate display in Contemporary?
I don't know that they did. If so, I missed it. I haven't looked super closely, but but they always do have a chocolate display, and it's always amazing. Like I know it was Frozen one year, and so it'll be neat.
Yep. The Beach Club Resort does a chocolate carousel, which is entirely of chocolate. You cannot ride it. You cannot sit on it, but it's a life-size carousel made of chocolate. The spin, the horses are created with chocolate, sugar, and fondant, along with hand-painted characters and handcrafted gingerbread shingles, which, by the way, in all of these that we mentioned, there are little kiosks and places to purchase all of these ingredients. I mean, you can't build your own chocolate carousel. I guess you could, but it's the ingredients to build a chocolate carousel are not there. But if you want, you want chocolates and cookies and gingerbreads and whatever, it's all there. They also have over at the marketplace an actual like a chocolate little setup. I'm sorry, this is over at Boardwalk, a little like display based on something at Crescent Lake. And last year they actually built a gingerbread and chocolate boardwalk display, which I had never seen. It was really, really cool. I mean, everything was like miniatured and everything, and just it was a cool little setup and stuff. And I loved it. I thought it was very, very cool. They have the large life-size animals over at the Gingerbread displays at Animal Kingdom Lodge, so that will be there. This year they're introducing the Yacht Club Resorts. Going to have a Gingerbread display. We don't know what that looks like or what it's going to look like, but they're going to have something there for them as well. And all of your resorts are going to have the large Christmas trees and stuff. They'll have different displays. Is there anything I'm missing? I know there are a couple of other deluxe resorts that might have something, but is there anything I'm missing?
I mean, you hit a lot of the big ones. I mean, all of the resorts love to go all out. Like you said, the ginormous Christmas trees, you know, the Christmas tree trail at Disney Springs.
I was going to get to that in a second. Yep.
But yeah, like there's lots of Christmas trees there.
Right.
So there's just, Disney is such a fun place for the holidays.
It is. It's great.
I can't wait.
As you mentioned, the Christmas tree trail that's over at Disney Springs, and it's free to go because it's Disney Springs. And they used to actually have a trail where you can walk
a trail.
one tree after the other. And since COVID, they kind of spread it out through. And I think they're going to do it again. I think that's going forward. What they'll do is they spread. There's like 20 or 25 trees spread out through the entire expanse of Disney Springs, and they're all decorated differently. You're going to have a Beauty and the Beast tree. You're going to have a Haunted Mansion tree. You'll have one for Toy Story or Pixar. You'll have one. I mean, who knows what they're going to come up with? There was one that I saw that was Disney Cruise Line tree.
Yeah.
And it's fun to quote unquote collect them all, to get pictures of all of them as you walk through. There's a bunch of them though. You can get a little passport, a little map to tell you where they all are, and so they're just everywhere. Some are kind of small, some are massive, and it's cool to go find them. One of the final things here is the Candlelight Processional over at Epcot, which of course they have guest celebrity speakers come in and they tell the story of Christmas, and they have the Epcot choir behind them. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful
such
display.
A beautiful thing.
The music is amazing. For those of faith, it really hits a little bit even more. But even if you're not of faith, it's okay because it's still a great story. It's
I know people who aren't who still love it. They say it's such a beautiful.
Exactly.
It's just a beautiful
thing.
Show.
Beautiful show. So Jen, there of course are dining packages available, which depending on who the narrator is, Neil Patrick Harris may be sold out versus somebody else.
There are a lot of them were sold out anyway. They sold pretty quickly.
They have different restaurants that you can do dining packages, which guarantees you kind of early entry and special seating into that. If somebody doesn't do a dining package, or maybe when they go, their dining packages are sold out. There's still the Regal Eagle, which you can go and do same day counter service until they sell out. But Jen, tips for getting to the Candlelight Processional, things that maybe adults and maybe families need to know.
You need to know that you're going to want to get in line early. I mean, and as much as, you have other priorities in the park that day, if Candlelight Processional is a priority and you do not have a dining package, keep an eye on the line because people will line up early for the shows. So, pick which one you want to go to. Keep an eye on the line. I would walk past earlier in the day than you think. So if you're wanting a 5 p.m. show, I don't even know that there's a 5 p.m. show, but let's just go with it, right? If there's a 5 p.m. show, I would walk by at 2 and just say, because there might even be a line for if there's a 3 p.m. show, hey, cast member, what are you thinking? What have you been seeing? What time should I get here? Let the cast member sort of help guide you. But I would say, you need to be prepped to line up an hour in advance anyway. And some people will probably go even, beyond that, but they do have multiple performances throughout the day. So
5:15, 7 p.m. and 8:30.
Okay, so I knew the 5 was usually a first number. So
depending on the narrator itself, for the 8:30 show, you may have people lining up at 7 o'clock.
You absolutely may.
7 o'clock show. No, the 7 o'clock show is already sold out completely. We're here for the 8:30 show. People will line up early for the 5:15
And the thing
show.
is, if it gets full and people want to see the show, they might end up just staying in line. So for the 5:15 show, if you're lined up at 4:15, and depending on how long that gets, maybe then people will be waiting because she said 6:15. So waiting for the following hour. So, just plot some time. Usually people are cool. If you need to take a restroom break, people get it. Trade off.
Looking at the narrators, honestly, I think that the 3 big ones, in my opinion, are going to be John Stamos, Neil Patrick Harris, and Brendan Fraser.
Absolutely.
Brendan Fraser, I think, and Joey McIntyre. So I'll say 4. I think those will be the big ones. That's the ones that, if you want the 5 p.m. show, you may want to start watching that line around 2 or 3 o'clock. They're actually not going to let you line up until a certain point.
Correct. But they'll tell you when they're going to let you. And then you can at least be nearby.
Like you can just plan for that. And I'm not going to, you can go and look, I'm not going to be like, well, this person's not going to have anybody. There are some that I don't think will be quite as popular.
But people love the Candlelight Processional, and it might not matter. Like if that's when your trip is and you want to see it, then you're going to see it,
Yeah, we had I've seen it a couple of times. The last time we saw it was Jodie Benson, and
it was amazing,
phenomenal. She got out,
she's
she
amazing,
talked a little bit and everything. She was amazing. She sang a little bit. She sang with the choir. It was great. We had a dining package. We had Rose and Crown dining package, so we were able to get in there and sit down where we need to sit down, and there is something to be said for that package because it can be pricey.
It can,
but if the show is that important to you, getting that good seat and knowing you don't have to line up so far in advance, that takes care of your time. Yeah. And you're paying more for it, but your time is what you're recouping. So, there is something to be said for that. So anything else we missed in terms of the holiday stuff coming up? I know there's a lot we didn't get to, but
I mean, I think that's like such a big and a good overview for what is going on. And so, if you are heading down to Disney or you want to take a last minute trip, we can probably find you availability, now, not necessarily for the Christmas parties or the Jollywood, like those things sell out, but we could get you down there, and it's such a magical way to celebrate the holidays.
Now, last two things here, and I'll talk about Thanksgiving because I've been 3 times with my family, with a family of 5, a family of 7, and a family of 14, all over Thanksgiving week. And people ask me about Thanksgiving week, and I tell them the same thing. With a plan, it's not bad. It can be very busy.
I've done it.
It's been very busy. Now, they're dropping the 2 p.m. Park hopping rule starting January the 9th. I don't know if now that's going to lead to, and they're dropping park reservations. So I don't know if next Christmas we'll start looking again where they kind of close the park to capacity, because we haven't had that in a long, long time.
But I do feel like that will be a thing again.
Well, they're going to have to, because fire code more than anything else. Thanksgiving, it's one of those things where with a plan, and of course, here's the sales pitch. Travel agents, upon Star Travel, or whoever your agent may be, will help you with those plans. Thanksgiving is not a bad time to go. The week after Thanksgiving, also a great time to go too, because everybody just went Thanksgiving or they're going Christmas. However, a lot of people have figured that out, and that week is starting to get busier as the years have gone by.
And that's the case almost everywhere. I have been Christmas.
You have been Christmas. Tips on Christmas. Good time to go. Good time to take the family. What are tempering expectations?
Hey, you have to have a plan. It's doable with a plan, but you also can't go expecting that there's not going to be anybody there because it's Christmas, because it's going to be maxed. Now I did Christmas 2020. So literally it was, it was at capacity, but it was, a limited capacity. That said, I mean, I was still waiting in line for things like Jungle Cruise had like over an hour line, but when you're going on a holiday, you go for the experience, and we were fine if we didn't ride a whole lot of things. What's interesting though, is like the day after, like a lot of people are kind of sleeping in. So, or maybe I'm thinking more like New Year's Day, but like you can actually get some things done. But if you go with a plan and with the proper expectations, you can get some really cool things done. And I love being there on Christmas Day, and then we're doing New Year's this year. So also we've done New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, but so much fun.
Yes. Well, it's also one of those things, and I will say this for Thanksgiving gig too, but Christmas and New Year's, it's one of those, by noon, you should have your park set. You should know where you're going to go.
You
Don't
need to
roll
be
into
in
Epcot
your park
at 5 p.m. thinking I'm going to go find my space for the fireworks. You're not. Or be in the park. Let that be your day that you don't park hop. Like that's your day for the park. You go in
and you're in and you're in to win it.
Exactly. Because again, for next year, and I'm sure we'll get to this in episode 225 or something, next year for Christmas, they will start. I don't know that they will or not. My expectation is that they will start limiting capacity into the parks, and they will have the sign up that says park closed to capacity, that kind of thing. Also, no free dining that we've heard of, just for you, Jen. And so, David. There are rooms available right now. There are rooms now. If you come up to us with a family of 6 and you're like, we want to get the Polynesian 2 rooms, you're probably not going to do that. But if you're okay with we'll take French Quarter. We'll take Pop. We'll take Animal Kingdom Lodge standard room. That's fine. Let's chat. Let's talk about it. So, Jen, you're leaving. You're in Turks and Caicos as we speak right now, or as you listen right now. So how can people follow you in all your magical adventures?
At Upon a Star Jen, or my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny.
Perfect. Follow, of course, Kyla at Disney Geek 27 on Instagram. Follow our friend Alexa, the Downeaster Alexa, at Upon a Star Alexa, also on Instagram as well. So follow them. And of course, at the Moana Mom, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Follow me on Instagram at The Magic on a Dollar. Follow me on Facebook at Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar, which, by the way, I'm approaching 10,000 follows on my Disney page, Disney on a Dollar. Crossing my fingers, hoping to get there in the next couple of weeks, which would be great. 10,000. What do I do with that? I have no idea, but I'm just very happy to even get there. So follow, of course, Upon a Star Travel on all the socials, TikTok and all those kind of places as well. Twitter, X, and Facebook and such. And of course, the MSE podcast at gmail.com is our email address. We'd love to hear from you, feedback, things like that. @.com is our website and all the stuff. Of course, you'll hear the wonderfully voiced Katrina give you all that information at the end of the show. So Jen, holiday preview. As this episode drops, again, you'll be in Turks and Caicos, but as of right now, you're not. So have a great trip. I'm sure that I still will talk to you because the internet apparently works at Sandals too. So I'm sure that we will communicate, and I will call you with some inane story about something, and you'll be like, "I'm on the beach. Why are you calling me?" Because I can. This is your job. Answer the phone, woman. And so Steph's the same way. She's like, "Why are you calling me?" Because I have to. So have fun, you guys. Until next week. Of course, that is Jen. I am Dave. This is the Main Street Electrical Podcast. And until then, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.